Hello, everyone. My name is TK Crow. Most of you probably know my mother. I'm her son, Candace Crow. We're scheduled to get started. There were about 30 people that confirmed, and about 6 of us are in right now. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to first thank you all for coming to our first CCD webinar. This is going to be a monthly thing that we do discussing marketing topics range in the digital marketing space. The first month is about email marketing. My goal for you is that if you're already doing email marketing, that you get some tips, some nuggets of advice that help take your email marketing to the next level. And if you're not doing email marketing, that you get a good framework of best practices for email marketing and then some action items to get started. So like I said, my name is TK Crow. I am the Director of Operations for Candace Crow Design. Like most of you probably know my mother. She's a special lady. I love her a lot. I got started working here in 2012, but I've worked for Candace Crow off and on my entire life. She was never opposed to child labor, so I'm pretty, started at a really young age in all of this stuff. Before I get into email marketing, I wanted to share a little bit about who Candace Crow Design is, where we've come from, and our story. My family, I have 3 brothers. My parents were happily married until the early 90s. My mom was a stay-at-home mom with 4 sons. We had a great life. And then in the early 90s, my parents got divorced. And my mom did what any logical single mother would do. She started her own business. She had a background in the advertising and marketing industry. So she got a loan from my grandfather and bought a computer and set it up on a desk and in her bedroom. And then it quickly grew from there to take over our living room. And it has grown since then to take over our current office space. And it's just grown progressively over the years. The funny thing about this picture is that in the 90s, we did a lot of direct mail campaigns, and I can vividly remember sitting around these desks on a Friday and Saturday night, eating pizza and stuffing envelopes for direct mail campaigns. And then in the mid 90s, we discovered email marketing and realized that we could reach just as many, if not more people with the click of a button. And ever since then, I've been pretty much infatuated with email marketing. So it seems like every day there's a new marketing channel that marketers are exploiting. So with so many new channels coming out every day, why do I still recommend email marketing? Well, I could list off a ton of different reasons, but the ones that really stand out to me is that the email address still serves as the gateway to the internet. And by that, I mean that when you sign up for online banking, when you get a new job, when I went to college, one of the very first things people did was give me an email address. When you sign up for Facebook, you get an email address. So email is still ubiquitous with the internet. Another reason is that it's the only channel where consumers actually prefer to receive marketing messages. They actually give marketers permission to send them messages. Another reason is that it offers one of the highest ROIs of any marketing channel. I can go on and on. Statistics show that email marketing as far as user base and daily active users, email marketing outranks all of the social media properties. But with so many positives for email marketing, there are downsides. Fully 75% of messages sent through email are spam. This makes the inbox an incredibly crowded place, and trust, whether it's in email marketing or anywhere on the web, is incredibly hard to develop. And once it's been broken, it's really hard to get back. So that's where the need for best practices come in. And these practices are processes and checklists that when you perform them, you increase the odds that your emails are going to be delivered, that people are going to see them, and that you're going to reach that high ROI that email offers. Now, at the heart of email marketing is permission. Like I said, it's the one channel where consumers actually give marketers permission to market to them. And then to add on that, when consumers give marketers permission, there's an expectation that is set. Now, generally, a lot of email signups come through the website. The wording that we use on that signup form is what sets that expectation. And it sets an expectation around what types of content are going to be sent, the frequency of the content that is going to be sent, and there's an expectation that the marketer is going to be respectful. They're not just going to spam the subscriber's inbox with unnecessary messaging. And all of that is based around trust. When someone willingly signs up to receive messages from a brand, they are putting their trust that they're not going to receive spam, they're going to be respected in that brand. So it's a big responsibility to not only build an email list, to send emails, but to maintain those three ideas when it comes to email marketing. Before I get into best practices, I want to talk about subscriber needs. And I like to think of these four things as a moving target. We're not always going to hit all four, but when we can at least hit a couple of them, we increase the odds that we're going to hit all of them. And at the very base, email messages need to be respectful. That means that we're not sending messages, in the middle of the night. We're not sending messages that take no account for what the subscriber is interested in. If we tell them that we're going to send them beauty tips and then we send them something on some other topic, that's not being respectful to the relationship that we have developed. The second target is they need to be functional. Nowadays consumers look at email across a wide variety of devices, so we need to try to match that user experience as best as possible to a wide variety of devices. To build on that, we want to be delivering valuable content to consumers as often as we can. I get asked a lot, how often should I send? Well, my answer to that is that you should send as often as you have something valuable to say. The messages that we send should be adding value to your subscribers' lives. The special offers should be offers that add value to their lives. And then at the very top are remarkable emails. And these are the types of emails that get shared across social media. They get shared with their friends. They get forwarded to their parents and say, hey, check out this great deal that I just got. Let's both go in and do this. So at the very base, we always want to be respectful and functional. And when we're hitting those targets, you're increasing the odds of sending a valuable and remarkable email. Now, I want to talk about the law a little bit. Most, if not all, modern email service providers take care of this for you. But you want to make sure that you have a clearly defined unsubscribe button. You want to include your physical address, and there's a couple other things that you have to include on every single email message. The thing, though, is that just following the law doesn't prevent you from getting people to mark your messages spam. Spam complaints happen all the time, but if we follow best practices, we can minimize those. So now I'm going to get into best practices. And everything about email marketing starts with your list. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see practices and small businesses not doing, is not building their list on an active basis. You should always be collecting email addresses from your website. You should always be asking your patients if they want to subscribe to your email list. Building your list is number one. On an average year, it's estimated that about 30% of your list is going to either unsubscribe or become inactive. So we always want to be taking steps to build that list. There's a number of different strategies that we can use. The website, your patients in your office, sharing your sign-up form to social media, even in-office signage about your email list is effective. To build on that, listing maintenance, like I said, about 30% of an email list is going to become inactive over a year. So what we wanted to be doing is actively monitoring our list. We want to look at the number of subscribers over the last 13 months that haven't engaged in our emails. And what we want to do is we want to segment that list of users out and do what's called a re-engagement campaign. We want to make sure that our master list is the most up-to-date and engaged subscribers so that we're preventing spam complaints and just unnecessary emails to people that just aren't checking their email anymore. One of the things that affects what's called your sender score is, your open rate and your engagement rate. So keeping that main list clean and up to date is very important. Now, sign up forms. This is really meant through the website. We want to make the sign up process as simple and straightforward as possible. Users should know, viewers of your website should know within a fraction of a second how and what information goes into the sign up form. It used to be best practices that you would collect, first name, last name, and even birthdays. Now it's becoming less and less. I see more and more sign up forms just requesting the email address. Through the sign up process, again, I can't stress this enough, we want to set expectations. A lot of email marketing is about frequency and conditioning our subscribers to expect a message, every 4 weeks, every 2 weeks, every month. So we want to start building those expectations from the first moment that we capture their email address, and that happens during the sign up process. Now, every email list has a variety of acquisition sources. One of them would be your current patients. Another is your website. Social media could possibly be a third. We want to realize that the subscribers that are closest to your brand, meaning the patients that you're currently seeing, are going to be your highest ROI subscribers. And we want to track the subscribers that we're signing up and their ROIs over time. So we want to segment, we want to create segments of our lists so that we're tracking the source, the acquisition source of our subscribers. So that's why I stress so much that you should always be, collecting email addresses, in your practice. Most practices do this well, but the website is the one place where I see a lot of people fall off. So a little bit about the sign up process. Double opt-in is where, I'm sure a lot of you know this, but double opt-in is where, someone signs up for your email list on your website, and then they get a confirmation email to click a link to complete the sign up process. In most cases, this is standard best practices, though in a few cases, it doesn't have to apply. For example, someone that, your current patients don't need to be double opted in. They can just be single opted in because they already have a relationship with your brand. There are a couple other ways to grow your list. The double opt-in process actually makes list growth a little bit smaller because about 20% of people that receive the double opt-in link don't actually click it. So there are a couple other strategies, one of them being what's called confirmed opt-in light. And this is where you use a single opt-in process, and then you use engagement based on the first 4 to 6 emails to basically tell whether that user is one, an active user, and then that's basically their confirmation of wanting to be on your list, is their engagement with your first 4 to 6 emails. And one of those emails should definitely be a welcome message. Welcome message is an automated message that gets sent to a user as soon as they sign up, or as soon as they sign up for your list, or as soon as they confirm that they want to be on your list. And the welcome message is a great place to further that expectations that were set, and then really introduce them to your brand. Statistics show that welcome messages get on average 50% higher open rates than any other message. And then those users that open the welcome message are 33% more likely to engage with your future messages. So a welcome message is a quick win. It's pretty easy to implement, and it should just be standard operating procedure for all of your email marketing strategies. To add on welcome messages, we can even do a welcome campaign. And this would be a series of 4 to 6 emails that gets sent out over the first 10 to 20 days of a subscriber's lifetime. And this really just adds on the idea of setting expectations. Now, if you go the sign up route of collecting very little information, maybe just the first name and the email address, one of the great things you can do through the welcome campaign is build out your subscriber profiles. And this means, asking them to put in their birthday, asking them to put what types of procedures they're interested in. A welcome campaign is a great tool to develop subscriber profiles, to deepen the relationship with your brand, tell them more about yourself, tell them more about your story, as well as continue setting expectations. So now we're going to get into the kind of the meat and potatoes of the actual email marketing messages. Envelope content is everything that the subscriber sees in their inbox when they receive an email message. It includes things like the from name, the subject line, the time, and the time and day. One thing to realize is that even when your emails don't get opened, seeing those emails in an inbox creates an impression of your brand in the subscriber's mind. So we want to be really mindful of things like the from address, the subject lines, and the time of day that we're sending, because this is creating an impression of your brand. So with the subject line, with the from address, that is actually one of the biggest indicators of opens, more so than the subject line. And it's because subscribers already have a relationship with your brand. So if they know who you are and they see a branded subject line, that increases the odds that they're going to open your message. I'm not saying subject lines aren't important, but you should really tune in on your on your from address and really do some testing on that to find out what version of your brand, if you have a very long brand name, what version of your brand name really resonates with your subscribers. So now into subject lines. Generally speaking, shorter is better, but the thing about subject lines is that if you try to trick your subscribers into opening your messages with short, catchy subject lines, quite often what happens is the click-through rate or the conversion rate of those emails just plummets. So we want to make sure the subject line is as relevant to the main call to action of the email as possible. And generally speaking, shorter is better because of mobile devices and the way subject lines get truncated, but we still want to make sure that the subject line is relevant to the call to action of the message. And doing things like trying to trick subscribers with short, catchy subject lines is a surefire way to increase your spam complaints as well as your unsubscribes. Again, I talked about the need for functional emails. Nowadays, with modern email service providers, which are the companies that you're sending your emails through, like MailChimp or Constant Contact or Campaign Monitor or Emma, you can actually send out tests and look at emails on different devices to ensure that the design and the functionality of the email actually works across devices. And this is one of the things that you should definitely be doing every time you send out an email, is sending a preview test and looking at it across a wide variety of devices: Android, iPhone, tablet, desktop, and laptop. So now the content of your email. You really want to put yourself in your subscribers' shoes, and you want to write to them in a personal format. If you think about the kind of emails that you like to read, I would be surprised if it's not ones that are personal. People are shying more and more away from the branded corporate style messages. You want to make these emails personal. One of the great things about email marketing is that you can personalize, the content. So you can input a personalization with the subscriber's name, and then with segmenting, you can actually send them, very direct messages about their interests. So writing is important to emails. It's crucial. One of the things that you can try to do is test shorter versus longer form content. Test types of test different types of saying things. excuse me, testing is a huge aspect of email marketing, and I'll touch on that more in a little bit. So this just touches on the way that consumers actually look at things on the internet, and nobody reads, from the first line to the last line anymore. Everybody skims things on the internet. So we want to take advantage of this by, creating bolded headlines, creating bullet points, using images, and then balancing that out through the emails so that they can quickly digest what it is you're trying to tell, trying to get them to do. Another thing to think about in designing and laying out your emails is that today people think that they can click everything. So we want to take advantage of that by, making the big images clickable links to either the call to action of your email or to the appropriate web page that you're trying to send users to. You can also do this in the headlines and various other places throughout the email. Now, call to actions. Every email that you send should have some kind of call to action. It should have some goal that you're trying to get your subscribers to do. On a very basic level, because plastic surgery is such a high consideration purchase, a lot of your emails should be brand awareness, educational style emails where you're sending them back to a blog post about a specific procedure, a procedure page, a video testimonial, a patient story. Those are the types of call to actions that should be the most prevalent in your email marketing. I'm going to touch more on frequency and what types of messages to do later. But again, you should really try to focus on adding value and then pushing those users to the appropriate pages or blogs or video content on your website or on your social properties. So when we talk about frequency and messaging, we want to add value more than we want to sell. If you're constantly sending out specials, promotions, it's really going to turn your subscribers off to your email messages. We want to send them, as targeted of a message as we can. And nowadays with, your EMRs and things like that, we can really build out pretty deep subscriber profiles based on the procedures that they've had and the procedures that they've interested in. So you can really send targeted messages to your subscribers. And my kind of rule of thumb is to every 2 to 3 messages, if you add value for 2 to 3 messages, then you send a promotion. And then, a lot of people ask about how often should I send? And it really depends, like I said, on how often you can add value. If you're just starting out, I always recommend just starting out with 1 email a month for the first 3 months. That'll get you in the mindset of sending emails, and it'll give you the habit of sending emails, and it'll give you some analytics to see what kind of things work best with your subscribers. Once you have reached that first 3 months of 1 a month, increase it to once every 2 weeks, and just keep on doing that over the first 3 to 6 months of your email marketing strategy, and you really get a good feel for what is working with your subscribers. Another great tip is to use other marketing channels like Facebook, Google AdWords, Instagram even, to test types of content. The great thing about those channels is that they give you pretty much instantaneous feedback on your content. So you can test out different types of stock imagery, you can test out different types of descriptions, and then you can pull those, pull that style of copy into your emails to further resonate with your subscribers. I kind of touched on this already, but the beauty of email marketing is that you can send highly targeted messages to your subscribers. And this isn't something that you should necessarily start out with a goal in mind, but this should be where you want to go with your email marketing. Because of the email EMRs, because we can build out subscriber profiles, we can send highly targeted messages to all of our subscribers based around their interests, based around what procedures they've had done, based around the time of the year. many variables can be used to really target and send specific email messages to our subscribers. Another thing that you want to think about, and this has to do with conditioning, is sending your emails consistently on the same day and time. Subscribers, like I said, become conditioned to expecting emails, over a course of 3 months. If you always send it on the third Thursday, you always want to send it on the third Thursday. This increases open rates, this increases engagement, and it just builds up that expectation from the subscriber on when they can receive your message. And this always has to do with this also has to do with the balance of, value messages versus selling messages. If every fourth email message is the special, your subscribers are going to realize that and really take note of that and open those messages. So you've got your first email set up, or you're getting ready to first set up your first email. One of the things that you definitely need to do is create a pre-send checklist. Do you have the right list? Do you have the most updated list loaded into your ESP? What subject line are you using? Have you tested it? Are your links right? These are the things that you want to check before you send, because once you send, that message is sent and you can't take it back. Another thing I definitely recommend is creating an editorial calendar, especially in an industry like plastic surgery where some things are seasonal. You can really take the guesswork out of what content to send when by creating a calendar that goes out 3 months, 6 months, a year. Now, this doesn't make it any easier to develop the content, but at least it takes some of the guesswork out of what to send when. Now, testing is a huge part of email marketing, and I always recommend testing something on every single email that you send, especially starting out. The first thing I always recommend testing is the from address. You really want to get that hammered down so that it's the one that resonates most with your subscribers. But you can test so many different things in email marketing, subject lines. You can test, style of photos, short versus long form copy. You can even test things like a text-only email versus an email with images. We constantly want to be testing so that we can increase the effectiveness of our emails and learn more about our subscribers and what kind of content resonates with them the most. Now, with an industry like plastic surgery that does experience some seasonality, we want to increase the frequency of our emails during the times our subscribers are most likely to buy. So during the holidays, when the kids go back to school, at the beginning of the year when people are setting their New Year's resolutions. These are the times of the year that your subscribers are most likely to buy, but these are also the times of the year that they're most likely to forward messages to their friends, to their loved ones. So we want to take advantage of that by increasing the frequency when they're most likely to buy. We don't want to overdo it and just spam them. But again, if you're sending, once a month, or twice a month, 4 times a month, you can up that to 8 times a month. One of the things that we do is for some of our clients is a 12 days of Christmas special, where 12 days in December we do a different special every day, and that is really effective with most of our clients. Another thing that gets forgotten pretty often in email marketing strategy are your transactional emails and your corporate emails. Transactional emails are things like appointment reminders. Corporate emails are just the emails that you're sending back and forth with your patients every day. You definitely want to do an audit of these and really look at them from a marketing perspective, because even though you shouldn't dedicate a huge chunk of those emails to marketing, it's pretty common. It's a standard practice to at least include some kind of marketing message in the signature of those emails. And you want to have a consistent experience between those emails, meaning, you want everyone to have the same standard signature throughout all of the messages that are coming out of your office. One idea is to include a link to your email sign-up form. I'm sure a lot of you have links to your social media properties, but it is a great, those types of emails are a great way to increase the effectiveness of your overall marketing strategy, as well as your email marketing strategy. So unsubscribing, I have a slide a little bit later about subscriber lifespan, but subscribers or your email subscribers are either there's three ways that they're going to remove themselves from your list. One is by stopping checking that email address and creating a new one. Another is unsubscribing, and the last one is marking your email messages spam. And we want to limit the number of spam complaints as low as we can. And we do this by making the unsubscribe process as easy as possible. Because email marketing is about permission and trust, if an email user can't unsubscribe from your message within a few steps, you increase the likelihood tenfold that they're going to mark your message as spam. So I know it sucks. I hate it when people unsubscribe from our emails, but we just got to deal with it and just move on, because there's always more fish in the sea. And again, subscribers have a lifespan. We accept that they're going to move off of our list, whether it's by them telling us they don't want it or them getting a new email address. So we just have to accept that and make that unsubscribe process as easy as possible. But then we also want to focus, like I said in the beginning, on list growth. We want to be always promoting our email, our email list through our website, through our word of mouth, in our practice, on our social media channels, to help combat that churn rate that we see every year on our email list. So this is a little bit more technical, and this is done, verifying your sending domain is done through your email service provider. I'm happy to kind of give more specific instructions to anyone that's curious, but basically you just add a few lines of code from your email service provider into your DNS records, and this just verifies that the from address that you're using for us, like @CandisCrow.com, has been verified, and it increased the deliverability of your email messages. So sometimes if you don't verify your sending domain, your email messages become more likely to go to the spam or the junk folder. So it's just one step to take in the startup process to increase the deliverability of your email messages. If you have a rather large list, 10 to 20,000, maybe 25,000 on your list, and you're sending 100,000 plus emails a month, another strategy to take is to create subdomains on your sending domain. So if anything happens, it only affects that subdomain. So an example of one of those would be, like marketing.candiscrow.com or emailmarketing.candiscrow.com, and all of our messages would come from that subdomain, so that if for whatever reason that subdomain got blacklisted, it wouldn't affect the rest of our corporate emails that are coming in and out of our office every day. And again, I'm happy to give more specific instructions on how to do some of that stuff to people that are interested. All right, so now how do we interpret the success of our email marketing strategy? The term open rates gets thrown around all the time because it's easy to understand. But the thing about open rates is that they don't really show you exactly how many people opened your email message. One of the things, a couple of the reasons why is that it is still prevalent in inboxes for images to be defaulted to turn off. So they estimate that about 30% of opens aren't actually tracked in the open rate. Another reason they don't tell the whole story is that a lot of inbox providers actually cache images in the inbox, so that records a false open. So we want to look at deeper metrics to increase to gauge the success of our email marketing strategy. One of those would be, your conversion rate and your click-through rate, but we don't want to just look at that from your last email. We want to space out the average conversion rate or click-through rate over the last 3 months, over the last 6 months. And we also want to take that data, those users that have clicked or converted on every one of those emails, and then we want to segment to them. And if you're trying to drive sales, that segment of users, which we call your most engaged users, is a great segment to send highly special offers. These are the people that are opening and clicking every single one of your emails. So send them something special, and I guarantee you the response will be positive. Oh, and I kind of just talked about this, but yeah, it's one of the other great aspects of email marketing is the segmentation that's possible. And we can segment users by a variety of different ways. The procedures that they have done, the number of emails that how many if they've opened all of our emails over the last 3 to 6 months. And this is not something that you really want to focus on starting out, but as you're 3 months in, 6 months in, a year in, you want to start keeping track of these users because these are the the most engaged users, but these are the users that really, like, if you're trying to test some kind of new product or special, these are the users that are going to be most likely to engage with that email and to take you up on those offers. So I know I've covered a lot. I'm going to do a little bit of a Q&A after I finish here in a second. But the biggest hurdle to having a good email marketing strategy is getting started. So I always tell people, start simple, start with 1 email a month, one type of content in the first email, and just send it out, get it done. Over the course of the first 3 months, if you do that consistently, 1 email a month, you'll get feedback from your subscribers, and that'll help dictate what types of content you send over the next 3 months, and then do that again. Marketing is this thing that builds on itself, so we have to get started. So pick one thing and get started, and hopefully if you have a good email marketing strategy already, you've learned something that you can take back and increase the effectiveness of it. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions. If you would like my slides, if you just want to talk about email marketing, I'm happy to talk to any and all of you. My email address is tk@candicecrow.com, and our number is 877-384-7676. If you have any questions, I'm happy to do a little bit of a Q&A for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Go ahead and type them into the questions tab, and I'm happy to answer any of them and all. And I just want to say again, thank you for coming to our first webinar. If you have any topics that you would like covered in marketing, let us know. We're going to be doing another one next month. We're going to try to help your business grow and help you learn a little bit more about marketing and us in the meantime. So no questions are coming. Oh, you're welcome, Dr. Sorokin. Thank you for coming. I will be, recording. I did record this, so we will be posting it on our website so that you can, watch it or share it with your friends later. Any questions? Did you all enjoy it? You can tell me your honest feedback. If you didn't like it, that's cool too. If you have any recommendations to make it better. Is anyone out there, thinking about starting an email strategy? Are you currently in the middle of email strategy? Yeah, I will email my slides out. I'll go ahead and just email my slides out to everybody that attended. Yeah, so there are some places to go to help generate subject lines. Let's see if I can find it real quick. This is a tool that I like to use. It's called Portent's Content Idea Generator. And basically what you do is you type in a keyword or a subject line, and then it comes, it creates a title for you. So it's just fun to play around with. If you're looking for ideas, this is something that I use. Oh, thanks for your feedback, Kathleen. I'm happy to, help you out getting started. Just, give me a call or shoot me an email. Dr. Hardesty, did you have a question? I'm sorry, this is my first time using GoToWebinar. I see your hands up. Yeah, so to verify your sending domain, you go into the settings of your email service provider, and then there's a section where it'll say verify sending domain. And Kathleen, if you want me to walk you through this, I'm happy to a little bit later. But it'll just give you a piece of code that you go in and you take to wherever you're hosting your website, through whether that's through your web hosting company or through something like GoDaddy. And you put that code in, and then you go back to your email service provider and you click verified, and it'll do the process for you. All right, any other questions? All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off then. Again, my email address is tk@candacecrow.com. Pretty easy to find me if you can't. Our website is candacecrow.com. Our phone number is 877-384-7676. Thank you again for coming. I will be emailing out my slides to all the attendees, and stay tuned for the announcement on the next one. Thanks again.